Blood was dripping down Captain Marcus Walker's face as police officers surrounded him, weapons drawn. The K-9 handler barked a command, attack. But instead of lunging, the German shepherd sat calmly beside Marcus, licking his hand. Impossible, the handler muttered, that dogs never disobeyed before. Yeah, that happened. Before I get into how Marcus Walker ended up in this life-or-death standoff, tell me, where are you watching from? Hit like and subscribe if you want to see how one dog's loyalty exposed corruption and shook up an entire town. Now, let me back up a sec. Marcus was staring at his reflection in the rearview mirror of his new truck, adjusting the collar of his crisp shirt. At 38, the Marine Corps veteran wore the scars of 15 years combat over 5 tours in Afghanistan. His eyes, once full of fire, now carried a cautious weariness. The purple heart pinned to his jacket caught the late summer light like a badge of both honor and pain. Returning home to Pinefield, Michigan, was supposed to mean peace, but as Marcus would soon find out, the battle had just changed. Growing up in Pinefield, Marcus had been a standout valedictorian, track star. Full scholarship to the University of Michigan, but success never shielded him from the constant undercurrent of "he's one of the good ones" murmured by white teachers and neighbors. His father, William, a postal worker who lived through the civil rights movement, warned him before he enlisted, "They'll use your body as a shield but never see your humanity." And that truth hit Marcus hard when racism wore a different uniform overseas but felt just as cold. After years of fighting in combat zones, Marcus had risen through the ranks, leading specialized K-9 units. Sentinel, the German shepherd with striking white markings, wasn't just a military asset, he was Marcus' closest companion, saving lives and sensing danger before it came. Yet just before Marcus' last mission, Sentinel was reassigned with no explanation, transferred to some unknown police department, military speak for out of sight, out of mind. Now back in Pinefield, Marcus had bought a home in Oak Ridge, a neighborhood unofficially off-limits to black families thanks to redlining and unspoken rules. As he pulled up, he caught the stiff posture of his elderly neighbor watering roses, no greeting, just cold avoidance. This was familiar territory. Since moving in 2 weeks earlier, Marcus had felt eyes on him everywhere, whispered warnings at hardware stores, activated security systems as he jogged past, and the worst, police patrols cruising slowly by, sometimes stopping to watch. Even the police chief, Thomas Black, had welcomed him publicly but privately ordered officers to keep tabs. Inside his new home, Marcus tried to build normalcy, calling his sister Tanya to plan a dinner, but a woman across the street was snapping photos, posting suspicious activity alerts on the neighborhood watch app. Unbeknownst to Marcus, his name was already flagged by the department as a threat to the town's status quo, a place that preferred diversity in theory, not in practice. One sleepless night, flashbacks from Afghanistan blurred with the present. The mission where Marcus saved his team under fire, only to have a white officer take credit in the report. The bitter truth hit him. Back home, heroism wasn't colorblind. Lieutenant Colonel Prescott blocked his promotions repeatedly, a silent gatekeeper of systemic bias. Marcus tried to settle in, but hostility shadowed every step. At a community meeting, he introduced himself, only to hear whispered, "There goes the neighborhood." The police chief's smile felt hollow. Soon after, Marcus found racial slurs spray painted on his mailbox. When he reported it, Officer James Harrington, the brother of a soldier who'd publicly blamed Marcus for his own battlefield injuries, shrugged it off as kids being bored. Harrington's warning was thinly veiled. Not everyone wants outsiders disrupting the peace. The harassment escalated, neighbors spying, contractors reluctant to work until Marcus mentioned his veteran status, a local reporter named Sandra Chin reaching out about police surveillance. Then came the night his family dinner turned into a nightmare. Police arrived, demanding IDs from his nephew Jamal and his sister's husband, Keith, accusing them of drug activity with no evidence, weapons drawn on his own lawn. Sandra filmed it all. That evening, the reality sunk in. The battles Marcus fought overseas had followed him home, morphing into this suffocating campaign of intimidation. At a veteran support group, Marcus met Sergeant Michael Torres, a former K-9 handler who mentioned a strange German shepherd at the local training center, a dog with the same unusual white markings, refusing to obey anyone. Marcus' heart raced. Could it be Sentinel? Determined, Marcus began documenting every police encounter, submitting complaints that were dismissed by the city council. Harrington's harassment turned darker when Marcus discovered drugs planted along his regular jogging route, an obvious setup. He hesitated, knowing reporting it could backfire, but he couldn't ignore the trap. Then came the raid. 3 patrol cars, flashing lights but no sirens, surrounded his house. Harrington stormed in with a warrant, accusing Marcus of drug possession, treating him like a criminal in his own home. The search was brutal, drawers emptied, military medals smashed, casual racist remarks thrown in the mix. No evidence was found, but the humiliation was complete. When they brought in the police dog, Apollo, the tension peaked. Marcus recognized the dog immediately. Sentinel. The same dog who'd saved his life, now renamed and under police command. The dog ignored attack commands, instead placing a paw on Marcus' knee and wagging its tail. Officers were stunned. Harrington's face twisted with rage, accusing Marcus of some trick or device controlling the dog. But Marcus raised his hand, giving silent commands only Sentinel understood, moves they'd practiced countless times in Afghanistan. The dog performed a flawless patrol, staying alert and protective. Officer Wilson, the K-9 handler, admitted he'd never seen anything like it. Harrington, losing control, pulled his weapon, but a news crew arrived, Sandra and her team, capturing the standoff live. Chief Black entered, tense and calculating. Marcus asked for a private meeting to explain, then demonstrated Sentinel's extraordinary training. Black's mask slipped. He knew the political storm was brewing. That night, Marcus compiled evidence of harassment and police misconduct, submitting it to the Department of Defense Inspector General and FBI. The investigation uncovered a network of corruption involving the improper transfer of military assets, like Sentinel, and racial profiling by the police. Lieutenant Colonel Prescott, Marcus' old adversary, was at the center, implicated in selling military equipment illegally. The community rallied behind Marcus as media attention grew. But threats came too: anonymous calls, vandalism, even a burning cross on Marcus' lawn, a hateful message made even more chilling by the fact that Officer Harrington was caught on security footage involved in the attack. The FBI stepped in, launching a civil rights investigation. Chief Blackwell resigned under pressure, and a reform-minded interim chief took over. Marcus refused a quiet settlement, demanding public accountability. At a packed town hall, he spoke with military precision, laying bare the systemic injustice masked by community policing. His words split the crowd but planted a seed of change. The police department underwent federal oversight, with new policies, mandatory body cams, citizen review boards, and retraining focused on eliminating racial bias. Marcus founded the Washington Foundation for Veterans of Color, pairing veterans with service dogs, highlighting the unique struggles of minority service members. One warm spring day, Marcus and Sentinel visited a local elementary school. When a young girl asked if he'd been scared during the police raid, Marcus said, "I was. But being brave means doing what's right even when you're afraid." Across the street, a new Black family moved into Oak Ridge, greeted warmly by neighbors, signaling a slow but meaningful transformation. Sitting on his rebuilt porch, Marcus looked down at Sentinel's wise eyes, grateful for the dog that saved his life twice. "Once in war, once at home. We made it, buddy," he whispered. "We finally made it home." So, what would you do if you were in Marcus Walker's shoes? Would you fight for justice, risking everything? Or take the easy way out? Drop your thoughts below. If this story of loyalty and courage moved you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear that standing up against injustice can spark real change. Remember, sometimes the most unexpected allies, like a faithful dog, can help us rewrite the story of our communities. Injustice? It often demands bravery when no one else will stand up.